Booga booga.
Twisters had a lot going against it when I went into the theater on Thursday. I try to go into any movie with an open mind, trying to curb whatever biases I may bring to the table. But it's hard not to compare this reboot of sorts to Twister from 1996. The original film was played weekly in my home. My family loved it, and it gave me an excuse to eat a lot of Reisen chocolates. I won't spoil the new movie for you, but I'll give you a basic plot along with some specific elements, so keep watching at your own risk. The film follows Kate, a former PhD student, as she tries to devise a way to kill tornadoes before they can do widespread damage. All the while, her team is rivaled by an opposing team of storm chasers. You can probably see the similarities with the original film. As I watched the movie, I couldn't help but wonder if there were certain elements and comments made that were specifically meant to demean the original, sort of addressing the scientific inaccuracies of Twister. Keep in mind, I hadn't seen the original since the 90s, so my memory wasn't exactly great. But after having watched Twister once again, I can say that this most recent movie isn't meant to demean its predecessor. If anything, it's a love letter to the original. The acting is decent enough, the pacing is solid, and the storm set pieces are adequately nail-biting. So there's plenty to like about this movie. However, it does have its weak spots, and they are glaring. For one, when Kate is being brought in to chase storms after being on hiatus, it's under the pretext that her and her team have a way of accurately mapping tornadoes in order to save lives. But no one explains how this can help anyone. The film just sort of expects us to make the connection that if you can map a tornado, you can then anticipate them better and help prevent losses. That's fine, but it seemed like a weak explanation, especially when you consider Kate's original goal was to stop tornadoes, not study them. Another aspect that doesn't make a whole lot of sense is the combativeness of the two opposing teams. As I've mentioned, Kate's purpose is now to map tornadoes. Okay, fine. The other team's purpose is to record themselves going into tornadoes and releasing the footage on YouTube for entertainment. Why these two teams are working against one another in the first place is weird and pointless. There is some rationale for animosity between the individual leaders for the teams, but again, their goals are distinct and don't have much of any overlap, if at all. Whatever bad blood does exist isn't even enough for people to get violent with one another. They just pass one another on the highways and insult each other. The original had reasons for why the two teams hated one another. Bill Paxton's character hated Carrie Elwes's because of a stolen design, so both sides were trying to accomplish the same goal, but one was underhanded. Paxton was altruistic in his actions, while Elwes was in it for glory and money. These divisions make a whole lot more sense than what we get in this new movie. Also, and it seems random, there's a subplot wherein a rich guy is offering payment to people who have lost their homes and businesses. Basically, he's trying to buy their land after a tornado hits. Maybe people have a natural aversion to rich folks doing this kind of thing, but for all we know, this guy's money could very well be giving these now destitute people a legitimate second chance. It's just an odd twist that doesn't hit particularly well. Now, I know I've leveled a fair amount of criticism at Twisters, but don't get me wrong, there are things this movie does better than the original. The biggest improvement is in the protagonist's main goal. Remember, she originally wants to try and stop tornadoes before they can cause serious harm, and the writers went through great lengths to explore that idea in what seems like a genuine way. According to the director of the film, Lee Isaac Chung, the quote-unquote science of killing a tornado is purely speculative, but they did take time to flesh out the explanation as to how it may be possible to tame a twister more so than the first movie, so I like that. While the science of what they were trying to accomplish and how isn't necessarily sound, according to meteorologist Michael Seeger, he does comment that the culture of the storm chasers, the sort of carpooling camaraderie, was pretty on point, as were the visuals. Ultimately, this film is worth seeing. Go on a date or go by yourself. Either way, you'll have a good time. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe and hit the like button. And if you saw Twisters, let us know what you thought.
Booga booga.